Hi there. So it is time to talk about a new character in the village whose name is Brandy Rusty Sails. So I was quite surprised to get this question. And as a psychic, sometimes it is difficult when people ask me things that to me are so obvious. It's kind of like, imagine you're looking at a forest and you see several trees right there, and it's so obvious that they're trees. And someone says to you, Magenta, are they trees or are they giant rocks? And you'll be like, what? Like, can you not see that they're trees? Well, no, I don't know if they're trees or rocks. I'm asking you. And I'm like, how can you not see that? So I don't mean to be condescending at all. It's just that it's so obvious. When there is light within an individual, when an individual is speaking and speaking truth, it is so obvious and so very clear. Yes, there are individuals that are not as easy to see that. For example, Mr. Musky Rat, who owns the giant bluebird structure X marks the spot. The reason why someone like him is not so easy to see is because he's neither positively polarized or negatively polarized. He is and what is known as neutrally polarized, or within the neutrally polarized path. So there will be a working of both and a choice at planetary end times as to which side that individual works for. And the inner allegiance, if you will, that we have as service to others beings is to the light, to the God source energy, to all that is good. And the other side of the bifurcation, the overlords in the village, will have the opposite allegiance. Someone in a neutral space doesn't have allegiance to either of those sides. The allegiance is more to whoever they feel needs their allegiance at that time, or whoever can serve their own needs at that time. So if they work with someone who needs their allegiance, they're in a service to others moment. If they work with someone who they feel is assisting them, they're in a service to self moment, and they navigate through. So that is Musky Rat. Yes, Musky Rat. I've spoken about Musky Rat before, and he is the owner of the bluebird structure X marks the spot. So Brandy Rusty Sails is completely different. It's so clear. It's so bright and obvious. It's difficult for me to wonder why somebody would ask that question. Now, someone who is completely new to spirituality, doesn't have any psychic work behind them, then I guess I could understand it, because the whole sort of, truth structure in the village will market a philosophy whereby if someone is well known and big, it's because they're part of the overlord structure. Well, that's true in structures such as the Hollywood forest and any other individuals or groups that serve the agenda, either knowingly or unknowingly. But that's not the case necessarily for the alternative community. Having said that, yes, there is infiltration there as well. So I can understand it if someone asks that question and they've been invested fully only in following the truth community in the village, and they haven't necessarily had spiritual or psychic awareness in their background. But I've been asked these questions, and I've been asked this question a lot in the last few hours from people I know are on a spiritual path. So that surprises me because it's so obvious. So I am denied whether or not to comment about Brandy Rusty Sails. One of the reasons being is my role isn't necessarily to answer questions like this. Is this person good or bad? Are they nice? Are they not nice? Are they on this side or that side? Is this true? Is this false? That's kind of not really where my focus is. Sometimes there are individuals within the third dimensional reality who are pivotal within the whole spiritual ascension path. So that needs to be commented on. The reason why I have decided to comment on this is simply because there is a large following with Brandy Rusty Sales, and I believe that this is all tied up with the same agenda, which is for the overlords to look at any fairy or gnome or pixie or wizard, and if they are accumulating too much of a following amongst the fae, and that's fine if they're talking about cooking or the weather or clothes or jewelry or animals, but if they're talking about anything to do with the agenda and they're accumulating too much of a following amongst the fae, then they will try to they know that they can't come in immediately and remove them because that would be too obvious. So it would be a planting of a seed of discrediting, allowing some conflict to surround that fairy or gnome, and letting that conflict grow, plant these seeds, and then eventually they would then come in. It's like a slower movement. They know it can't be done quickly. So yes, I mean that's what's happening. That's happening to Stormfire Gnome. That's happening to other characters in the village. If they get too much of an accumulated following, and they're talking about the Overlord agenda, and you know the latest target of that is Brandy Rusty Sales, and I'm not the slightest bit surprised. I'm sure he isn't either. This is expected, not unexpected. So the question is Brandy Rusty Sales innocent or guilty of what he's being accused of? Well, yes, of course he's innocent. Of course he is. It's very, very obvious. So short video, just wanted to comment on that because I have received tons of questions about this. Like I said, I was surprised because I would assume psychically aware, spiritually aware individuals would know. You know, you're looking at a forest, a tree is a tree. It's so clear. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be lots of conflict around this. That's the whole point. But yeah, Brandy Rusty Sales is an innocent fairy, goblin, gnome, or whatever part of the fae that he identifies with and decides that he wants to be. Let's just see, what should we... I would say he's like an elf, actually, an elder elf. So yes, Brandy Rusty Sales, the elf, is innocent of what he is being accused of. So all right then, thanks for listening, and I will see you again soon. Bye.